All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the second semifinal of the Team Liquid Legacy Star League Qualifier number 4. It's going to be a PvT between Hellerine and Andrey. The map order will be Jade, Electric Circuit, and then Fighting Spirit if needed.
Exactly, it will. And this is going to be good stuff, not least because this guarantees that we're going to have a non-ZVZ final in this qualifier, which is going to be good. So, well, hey, at least one non-Zerg player is going through from this. So, raise your glasses to that. And, yeah, I think that's definite cause for celebration. So, yeah, I guess we've just got to see how this plays out. Once again, Jade, an interesting map. We all know by now that it's a personal favourite of mine to watch games on, so I expect nothing less than the best from especially Mr. Hellerine, who needs to impress me. He needs to impress me because I don't know who he is. So hopefully he can do a real gym bag and just come straight out and just blow me away. I would love that.
I hope so indeed. So, yeah, let's go straight into the game. Game number 1, Hellerine versus Andrey.
Let's do it.
Alright, here we are in game number 1 as the Teal Protoss at the bottom right. Oh, hold on, before that, Keontae is going to leave because of Aussie lag. Yeah, good man,
Yeah.
Keontae. Take one for the team.
Well done.
Alright, bye Keontae. Okay, so at the bottom right is the Teal Protoss, we have Hellerine. And at the bottom left as the Yellow Terran, we have Jim Bag, aka the Pretender, the fake, the wannabe.
He's not the real gym bag, guys. He's not the real gym bag.
He is in fact Andrey, aka Dre, an American Terran, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Or I should say race picker because he plays PvT, not TvT, which is why we actually saw him PvT against Terror already today. So he's played both sides of the matchup.
Yeah, so the fake gym bag versus the unknown Hellerine. So this is going to be curious. I kind of find this so reaffirming how you can say something on a cast one day, and then the next day a player who was presumably watching it can come out and can do something relevant to the previous day's cast. It just makes you feel important in the world, you know?
That's true. That's very true.
Which is great. Very, very reaffirming, even if it is a somewhat
somewhere out
concept.
there, Andrey is watching us, Elegant.
Yeah, so he is. And that just makes me feel good inside. Yeah, exactly. So we have Gateway going down from Mr. Protoss, completely normal, no kind of fast expanding shenanigans.
Trash talk.
Oh, I'm liking
You're
this.
12 years old. No, dude, DeWalt is 12 years old. Haven't you seen his picture?
No? What? Really?
What? Dude, okay, go look at Draw's blog. There's a picture of
think I might
DeWalt.
feel
It's a real
uncomfortable
picture,
doing
by
that.
the way. So for those of you who saw Draw's blog about finding Jumper and weren't sure, that's actually a real picture of DeWalt. He actually looks like he's 12 years old, and he's like a high-level Protoss player.
He's a buff.
Yeah. I don't know how old he actually is, but he looks
I
like
bet he's
super
like
young.
30, and he's just, yeah,
He just never ages.
so belittling. Everyone's like giving him lollipops and ruffling his hair. God, what a life. That's not for me. We actually have, okay, I was about to say a significantly late cybernetic score, but it looks like he just delayed it a little bit for whatever reason. Coming in from Mr. Hellerine. And everything's progressing exactly as normal, although it looks like it might be a 10-15 gate from Hellerine. I think it is. Oh no, it's not. Okay, god damn it. Why would you cut out probes though to make that a gate with the pylon on 15?
Do you have to cut probes to make the pylon on 15?
You shouldn't have to cut probes for the second pylon.
Yeah, you shouldn't. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, he made a zealot though. That's unusual.
Yeah,
Usually
that
goes
is
straight goon. That's the second time we've seen that today, actually. Actually, didn't Andrey do that when he was Protoss as well? He went for the zealot first, even though he wasn't actually DTing or anything. And in this case, since the zealot's moving out, I don't think that's going to be a DT or anything either. Other thing I'd like to point out also is that this SCV checked the middle for proxy gates as well. So Andrey being very careful, and you know what? He's right to be, because when you play someone you've never heard of before, you generally assume they're not as good as you. Hello,
Yeah.
Idra. So yeah, he's like, this guy's probably gonna cheese me because he's not as good as me, so I'll check the middle.
Yeah, and I think that's very sensible. We have a little bit of interesting Zealot path going on. He's going to head round and down from underneath. For some strange reason, I'm not quite sure why he did that, but I guess just to avoid the SCV scout, which is, fair enough. But that Zealot seems to be waiting far too long. I wonder if there's some kind of ulterior motive to that, because it's weird that it's not doing any kind of aggression now, because surely it would be trying to pounce while the Marine count's low.
Yeah, that's quite curious. I mean, Dragoon's coming over now, so at the very least, okay, it looks like, yeah, he was just waiting for that Dragoon. He's not going to go forward, but the bunker's going to be finished then, so I don't think he's going to be able to do too much.
Yeah, of course he wouldn't have been counting on that bunker. He couldn't even get a scout up. Oh my god, it looks like he might actually lose one of his Marines. Okay, so one of the Marines goes down, another one gets severely damaged, and he's going to be okay in that bunker though. Because of course Hellerine didn't know the bunker was happening, so he just, he delayed a little bit too long.
Oh, he might run by. He's going to go for a run by. He's running by the bunker. He's going to go into the main. Oh wait, what's that Zealot doing? Okay, the Zealot took a wrong turn, but he's figured it out. He went on his phone, he looked up Google Maps, and now he knows where to go.
Yeah.
Good thing he didn't have an iPhone.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about technology. You never need to be lost for too long. And clearly, Mr. Zealot knows that. But this run-by could actually be quite effective. It's something that Protestants don't usually actually think to do at all against Terran. But of course, it's entirely valid. Why wouldn't you do this? Because you can really make these units count. The only danger is that against Terran, you do run the risk of finding yourself very, very vulnerable if you don't have quite enough Dragoons, and even one or two Dragoons can make all the difference. But he's going to get a lot of SCV kills right here, and it's looking like he's actually going to severely set back his Terran opponent. The tank is nearly out now as well, which is going to put an end to this, but serious damage being sustained by Dre right here. And Hellerine is all over this so far. Very, very nice run-by move, and that Dragoon and Zealot definitely paid for themselves.
Yeah, and while last shot killing another SCV there. And while this was happening, a Nexus has been planted by the Protoss here, so it's essentially a one-gate expand after some pretty crazy aggression. Meanwhile, two more goons coming in the front. He did chase away and kill a scouting SCV, but now that the siege tank is out, I don't think these goons are going to be able to do too much. Yeah, the tank has siege mode as well, so the goons won't even be able to harass the bunker anymore. Looks like just one siege tank, so just doing some shield damage there. And we do see the expansion there for Dre as well, and it looks like Dre has just gone for a siege expand, which is not something you see very often nowadays. It used to be fairly popular in this matchup, but now players generally go for the FD attack if they want to expand. So basically, it's a fake double where you go for one tank, vultures with mines, and a few marines, and you move out. So it lets you be a little bit more aggressive in the beginning of the game, whereas siege expand basically it's similar in that it lets you get a fast expansion, but it doesn't let you actually kind of move out and make the Protoss scared, basically.
Yeah, and it looks like actually Dre is going to be able to see these Dragoons away from the front of his base, managing to land a couple of siege hits. And he is going to be safe for the time being, but of course this has allowed Hellerine to get a third Nexus up nice and early on. So this is quite an interesting way to play it from Hellerine. He's got quite an early robotics facility as well, although as I say early, but I would have expected him to get at least another gateway up before that robo.
Yeah, he is taking a slight risk in the unit counts, but I think it's probably because he saw it was a siege expand, so he knows there's going to be no early aggression coming from the Terran. So he feels safe in doing this. Yeah, I think, I can't remember if I think it was yesterday's cast or something where we saw, or no, actually, was it Andrey against Terror where he went 2-gate and then double expanded, basically. So this is very similar to that, except it's it's one gate robo, so you get your obs much quicker, but obviously your Dragoon count is very, very, very low. So once again, you're basically saying, I hope he's not going to attack me very soon. I
kind of prefer this though, because it's a little bit less kind of throwing caution to the wind luck-based strategy, because scouting is so important. I mean, scouting and getting units at the right time is often way more valuable than getting too many units too early. So I actually really like this because it maximizes its effectiveness at different points in the game in a way which only effective scouting can do. He's going to be able to land plenty of siege hits on these Dragoons right now. Not quite managing to kill one, but managing to severely damage a few. And looking like he's actually going to be a little bit aggressive just to try and seize back that high ground and maybe give him a nice route to his third base.
And by the way, this kind of little move out by the Terran is a pretty common trick to try and grab one or two free Dragoons. Because what happens is that the tanks obviously have much bigger range than the goons. So the Protoss player will usually leave a few goons outside your natural. So you move up into range, you siege up, and you use an SCV to give yourself vision. And you can, if you target fire your tanks, you can often just get a free goon kill. He wasn't able to get one there, but it's a pretty common tactic by Terran players when Protosses, they aren't just paying attention at that moment in time. So I quite like that. Meanwhile, it looks like walling in the top of his third here. An SCV obviously can go in there, but Vultures won't be able to pass through that gap. I don't think they'll be able to pass through that gap any longer there. And in the meantime, wow, is that a forge already? Actually, wait. Ooh, That forge feels a little bit early to me, especially since the fourth gate is only just coming up. But I guess we'll see how that works. And actually, a very early attack here from the Terran.
Oh, yeah, but it's actually doing well so far. It's managed to take out 3 Dragoons already for free. So this is a fascinating attack by the Terran player, just putting out pretty much pure tanks. But this is a nice timing, and I think this might be kind of indicative of how Dre knows how these kind of builds work, because we saw him execute a very similar build earlier on in the day. So this might really show how knowing exactly how the build works from the other side of the track really helps you in finding these timings.
Indeed, indeed. That's actually a very good point. I completely forgot about that, but it's like, hey, that's the build that I like to do. I know exactly how to kill it. So, so yeah, he's moving out now with just, a handful of Marines and siege tanks, and yet it's being very, very effective. Note that he's also making good use of the terrain. He's not moving up too quickly and too far. He's kind of sticking on this low ground, so if Protoss does attack, he kind of has to walk around this little corner thing. It's slightly awkward to actually attack here. So he's kind of slowly but surely moving up. But the thing is, the 3 bases are now operational for the Protoss, so we can see a lot of gateways have been added. He's on 6 gate now, going up to 7, and he should be able to get a pretty good swell of units soon. So Andrey does have to be a little bit careful here, as the Protoss infrastructure is just now starting to kick in. So yeah, better not to move in too quickly, I think.
But we can really see why he started this push as soon as he possibly could, because this has allowed him to get way across the map pretty much unresisted, so he's able to set up such a strong position right there, and he hasn't even had to really work for it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because usually the dynamic you see in PvT is like the Terran turtles for a little bit and then tries to push out, and the Protoss kind of harasses him the entire way. Oop, bit of a mistake there, losing the siege tank. But yeah, the Protoss will use the goons to attack, and then as soon as the Terran siege is up, the Protoss backs up. So it's a very slow and steady process moving across the map. But yeah, by moving out this early, he's actually established position right outside the Protoss natural, basically uncontested, as you said. The question is, though, can he hold this? He still only has 5 siege tanks here, losing that 6-1 earlier on stupidly, although it looks like he is now bringing up some more reinforcements. So this position, if he can actually hold this wide ramp, that's going to be really annoying for what's his name, Hellerine, because he just can't actually leave his base anymore.
Yeah, and meanwhile we have Dre going up, almost taking a nasty man hit there, going up to 5 factories, so he's just going to keep piling on pressure and keep reinforcing this, and I think it's probably time for him to move his furthermost siege tanks forward a little bit and just establish a slightly more advanced position, because I think he does still have the army count to do so, and if he can avoid that nasty unsieging time when his Protoss opponent is looking stronger, then that would be quite nice for him. But he is starting to bring more tanks up from the back, and his line is staying quite deep. But of course, that's quite effective when you're fighting against oncoming Protoss forces. You need that nice deep tank line.
Sieging the third Nexus here. I think he can also range the mineral line. You can see the probes running there as well. But oh, listen, we have the breakout, and here we go. Here's the swell of zealots here. There's one bunker. One of the tanks is unsieged. There's not any mines blocking, and look at all of those zealots. This is exactly what I was talking about. Great mine drag into the tanks as well, and the Protoss player just crushes that contain. See, this was my fear. Going out early is all well and good, but the problem is you let the Protoss get his 3 bases up, and now he has that mine. What a sick spider mine there, killing awesome Dragoons in retribution. But look at this, there's no army left in the Terran base. He's gone up to 6 factories on 2 base. He's essentially going for an all-in now. He's basically all-in because he can't get his third anymore with his Protoss army here. But I don't think it's going to work. I think he's just going to die right here.
Yeah, and when your all-in dies, you usually die with massive mine going up. Taking out so many SCVs, and Dre is absolutely done in game 1. So Hellerine really coming out with a nice result in this first match, and Dre just looks absolutely beaten right here. That was such a strong push out from Hellerine, really destroyed the Terran entrenchments, and I think that Dre was just a little bit slow about setting up a really strong contain. If he was going to really commit to that container, I think it might have been better to maybe throw down more supply depots, maybe an extra bunker or 2, just to really kind of clutter that area up and make sure the units can get amongst the siege tanks. But this game is really absolutely over, and GG! The Pretender.
Sorry. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
very...
go on. It's funny how often that actually happens in PvT though. Like the Terran sets up contain, he's like, oh yeah, Protoss can't get out of his base, and then suddenly 20 speed lots. You're just like, damn.
Yeah, that was really a bit nasty. I mean, it just took a little bit too long for Dre to get any more progress, and all the while, his contain wasn't getting that much stronger because his factory count hadn't really kicked in yet, and he was sat at the bottom of a big ramp, and it was just... it didn't feel secure at any point. I think more SimCity might have done the trick, but even so, I don't know if his position was quite strong enough for it. I don't know if he had enough units.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he went very early with that attack. He only had 2 factories worth. I agree. Maybe bringing a few SCVs and walling. The problem is he was also at the bottom of the ramp. So the Protoss was attacking downhill into his position for the most part. So that also didn't really help. So partly the map in that sense, and partly just I don't know, because I was saying the whole time how he shouldn't push too quickly, but now in hindsight, now that I think about it, maybe he should have just gone straight for the throat with the initial push with 5 tanks, because at that point the Protoss infrastructure wasn't ready yet. The gateways weren't up. The third base was just coming up online. So the Protoss didn't actually have that many units, but once you let those 3 bases run a little while, and once he gets 7 gateways, you're just going to get overrun like that. So
yeah. And it's hard to blame it on the map because you know the map you're playing and you play to the map. So it's one thing to say maybe the map had a bit to do with it, but if the map's disadvantageous to something, you don't do it unless you're sure you've got a real element of surprise. And I think that was maybe slightly foolhardy of Dre not to take that into account.
Yep. But, I mean, it's also possible he slightly underestimated his opponent, It's like, just a random Protoss player, I can just move out, doesn't really matter. So maybe now he's learned his lesson, he'll play a little bit more cautiously, who knows?
Perhaps, although that's not to say he'll be dull, because I'm sure he'll still be going out to win this. But yeah, maybe he'll just give his opponent a little bit more credit and just, step a bit more lightly.
Alright, so we'll go into game number 2 after a quick break. See you guys in a bit.